In July 2026, a hacker handed journalists what appeared to be a map of how one of the world's biggest artificial intelligence music systems learned to make songs. Not a playlist, not a rumor. A reported trail of source code, download instructions, service names, and numbers measured in years of audio. According to reporting based on hacked Suno code, the sources included YouTube music, Deezer, Genius, podcasts, and multiple stock music libraries. One reported file referenced more than 2 million YouTube music clips. Another referenced 113,879 hours. Those figures have not been independently audited for this documentary. They come from hacked material reviewed by journalists. But Suno's own public disclosure says its training data contains tens of millions of publicly available music audio files and related metadata. The scale is not the only story. The receipts are. Suno told reporters that it discovered a limited security incident in November 2025, contained it, and determined that the incident primarily involved outdated source code. The company said no sensitive personal information was compromised. TechCrunch separately reported that the hacker claimed access to customer emails, phone numbers, and partial payment card information held in Stripe. That conflict remains unresolved in this documentary. Suno has also argued that training on publicly available music is lawful. Record companies disagree. They sued Suno in June 2024, alleging mass infringement of copyrighted recordings. An allegation is not a judgment, and the legal argument is still larger than one leak. So this video will not pretend that hacked code settled copyright law. It did something different. It made the invisible supply chain visible. And that matters to every producer, including producers who have never opened Suno, because music is entering an era where the finished WAV file may no longer be enough to explain where value came from. Generative music compresses that path. A listener can hear a finished vocal, arrangement, production, and master without seeing the data, references, prompts, edits, performers, or permissions behind it. The output arrives instantly. The origin disappears. That creates a trust problem before it creates a taste problem. A beat can sound expensive and still leave an artist, label, supervisor, or distributor unable to answer basic questions about authorship and rights. Who wrote the melody? Who performed the vocal? Did a model generate the primary creative elements? Were samples cleared? Which human decisions are documented? Can the session be reopened? Can the producer explain the chain without improvising an answer? In the next music economy, proof is becoming part of the product. That does not mean every producer needs to become a lawyer. It means the professional deliverable is expanding. Audio is still the center, but attached to it is a second layer, provenance. Provenance is the record of where something came from, how it changed, who contributed, and what permissions travel with it. In a studio, that can be practical, boring evidence. Project files, stems, dated exports, sample licenses, split sheets, performer notes, and tool use records. The timing of the Suno reporting matters because the industry is building a language for that evidence right now. On July 10th, 2026, 8 music organizations, including the Recording Industry Association of America, the International Federation of the Phonographic Industry, the Recording Academy, and SAG-AFTRA, announced a harmonized voluntary labeling approach for generative artificial intelligence in sound recordings. The approach separates 2 categories: artificial intelligence generated and artificial intelligence assisted. It is voluntary. It is not a global law, and it does not prove that every platform has implemented the labels. But the distinction is important. An artificial intelligence generated label applies when generative systems produce the entirety or the primary creative elements of a recording, such as a lead vocal, key instrumental performance, or entirely prompted track. Artificial intelligence assisted means the technology supports the process while humans remain the primary creative force. That line may become one of the most valuable lines in your session. It separates using a tool from outsourcing authorship. A producer may use artificial intelligence to clean noise, explore a texture, separate stems, organize references, or test an idea while still making the expressive decisions that define the record. Another creator may prompt a complete song, accept the result, and release it with minimal change. Those workflows are not the same, even when both are described with a lazy sentence. This track used artificial intelligence. The United States Copyright Office makes a related distinction. Its guidance says purely artificial intelligence-generated material is not protected where there is insufficient human control over the expressive elements. Prompts alone generally do not provide that control, but human-authored expression can still be protected. So can creative selection, coordination, arrangement, or meaningful modification of generated material. The analysis is case by case, and this is United States guidance, not universal legal advice. The practical message is simple. Do not only make decisions. Preserve evidence of the decisions you made. Here is the 5-layer producer provenance stack. Layer 1 is the session chain. Keep the original project. Use version saves. Export dated rough mixes. Preserve MIDI when it represents your composition. Keep important audio takes before destructive editing. You are not saving clutter. You are preserving a timeline. If a dispute appears months later, one clean session history can explain more than 20 confident messages. Layer 2 is the source chain. For every external sound, know what it is, where it came from, and what permission you have. Store sample pack receipts and licenses. Record whether a loop is royalty-free, non-exclusive, restricted, or requires clearance. If a collaborator sends audio, ask whether they created it and whether any third-party material is inside. I downloaded it years ago is not provenance. Layer 3 is the human contribution log. Write down who composed, performed, produced, arranged, edited, mixed, and mastered. Confirm splits while memories are calm, not after song moves. Layer 4 is the artificial intelligence use log. If a generative tool touched the record, document the tool, date, input category, output category, and what the human changed. You do not need to publish your private prompt library, but you should be able to answer whether the tool generated a primary creative element, assisted a technical step, transformed material you owned, or introduced content with uncertain origin. This is where the new labels become useful. Instead of hiding every artificial intelligence tool or branding every modern plugin as artificial intelligence, describe the actual function. Noise cleanup on a human vocal communicates something different from generated lead vocal. Stem separation for an owned demo communicates something different from prompt-generated instrumental. Precision creates trust. Layer 5 is the delivery file. Build one folder that can travel with the record. Final audio, instrumental, clean version if needed, stems, tempo and key, credits, splits, sample notes, artificial intelligence disclosure, and contact information. The future producer does not only send a beat. The future producer sends confidence. None of that guarantees a placement, royalty, registration, or legal result. Provenance is not magic. It reduces uncertainty, and reduced uncertainty has economic value. There is also a privacy lesson inside the Suno story. Before uploading unreleased vocals, stems, or client material to any online artificial intelligence service, inspect its terms, retention policy, training choices, and account security. Fast workflow does not cancel professional responsibility. The strongest objection is obvious. Great music has never required a perfect paper trail. Some historic records were chaotic, undocumented, accidental, and still unforgettable. But this is not a choice between soul and spreadsheets. The producer's job is to protect the conditions that let human work travel. Taste makes the record valuable. Proof helps other people trust, license, release, and pay for that value. The machine can generate an output. Your advantage is building a record with a history people can verify. Run this 7-day producer-proof audit. Day 1. Choose one unreleased track and collect every session version in one folder. Day 2. Trace every sample, loop, vocal, and outside audio file back to its source. Day 3. Write the real contributor list and confirm the open splits. Day 4. List every artificial intelligence tool used and classify the role as generated or assisted. Day 5. Export organized stems and label them so another professional can understand the session without you in the room. Day 6. Create one delivery sheet with tempo, key, credits, rights notes, artificial intelligence disclosure, and contact information. Day 7. Send the folder to a trusted collaborator and ask one question. What would stop you from releasing this tomorrow? The missing answer is your next system. The Suno leak did not end the artificial intelligence music debate. It revealed why the next phase will be fought over origin, permission, attribution, and proof. Producers who hide behind vague claims will create friction. Producers who can explain their process without panic will become easier to trust. When finished music becomes infinite, verifiable human decisions become scarce. If you make beats, write one layer you are missing below. Session chain, source chain, contribution log, artificial intelligence log, or delivery file. Subscribe to Beat Theory for a producer strategy built for the industry that is arriving, not the one that already disappeared.